Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Corner Pod, wherein we talk about all things football. I'm Hari Keshav, and today joining us all the way from Montreal, Canada, is a passionate Man United fan and a rising football content creator. Ashish, welcome to the pod.
Hey, thank you, Hari. It's a pleasure to have come here, man. I saw. Thanks for the invite again. Like, I'm just starting new as a creator, but I've been doing such podcast on different panelists on different channel over the past year and a half. But now started my own thing. But yeah, as you rightly pointed out, I'm a United fan. But what happened last season opened up my eyes a bit more, right? That's why I wanted to check out other clubs, other leagues, and then try to form perspective, at least to give section of United fans perspective as to what you are missing out on football as well, and just for my own personal mental state after watching last season. Yeah, but yeah, I want to change football discourse for good. That's my plan.
Brilliant. In just a few seconds, Ashish has already come out with a mission statement because I was just telling for the viewers who don't know about Ash, he's just started a brand new YouTube channel, Ash Talks Football, wherein he's already closing in on 400 subscribers in just over a month of starting. And he is changing football discourse for good because some of the content that he's putting out, and not just about United, but about other teams, you have to go check him out. And
Thank you, thank
he's
you.
just doing a brilliant job, and it was just a matter of time before we provide a platform for content creators to come on our channel and then talk about football as well, because it gives me immense joy to have you on the channel, Ashish, today.
Pleasure, man. Thank you so much. What an introduction. Thank you so much. I'm still growing and still learning my trade, but obviously that's the plan to produce top quality content as well.
Brilliant. So, viewers, if you love honest takes, tactical insights, and I was just telling Ashish when I saw his videos, it almost looks like videos from Pythagoras in Boots, the
That's a
junior
big
version of
compliment. Come
them.
on.
So, go show him some love by liking and subscribing to his channel. All the links to his channel will be in the description of the video below. So, go give him a follow, give him a like, and subscribe to his content as well,
Thank you.
and show him some love.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And obviously, I'll have my folks, my subscribers give you the love as well. I always return my love. You will get the love that I think I saw some of your content as well. Pretty good podcast. I think you did with Chinu as well. Pretty fantastic session. So we're gonna have a nice fun session today. So let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Ashish called it fun because what we're going to talk about today is the Premier League transfer season so far. So what we
Absolutely.
will do is we will go through some of the Premier League teams and their transfer season so far, and we will talk about the ins, the outs, and how it is shaped out for them. And then Ashish will give them a transfer rating from 0 to 10 based on their transfers. Before we dive into the episode, Ashish, let's do something fun
Okay.
because whenever there's transfer season, we are always following the Fabrizios, the Onsteins, the Ben Jacobs. What a fantastic transfer season Ben Jacobs is having, by the way.
Absolutely. Chaos, man. It's absolute chaos.
Absolutely. And then with it also comes this whole lingos, the transfer lingos, and there's some dramatism, like words being thrown around. And there's just some really fun lingo that these journalists use. And so I'm just
Right.
going to throw a few classic transfer phrases at you, and I just want to see how you interpret them when you read them.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah, let's start with transfer war chest. This is a very common thing that big clubs like to use, or journalists like to use when they talk about Chelsea
Right.
or Real Madrid. Transfer war chest. What?
What I mean by transfer war chest, honestly, is PSR is not hanging on your neck like a sword. That's what I would say. We can't say the same about Aston Villa because Aston Villa, as you can see, I mean, there's a recent an article. I think. Hope you're able to hear me though properly,
Yes.
right? Everything's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
So as you can see, for Aston Villa, they are hanging by the neck. Only 5 million room for losses
okay.
in terms of PSR, right? So as and also like just to mention that 80% of the revenue is covering their salaries, player
Yeah.
salaries. That's why they had loan deals in Asensio and Rashford last season. Couldn't buy them.
Absolutely.
And this is where what you call transfer war chest is. You have the funds. The example is Man City, which we
Yeah.
call a transfer war chest. That also you have the money, no PSR hanging. You
Yeah.
can go all out this season. That's what I mean.
Brilliant. That is the best interpretation that I've heard of transfer war chest, also keeping in view the PSR environment. So let's
Absolutely.
go to the next one. This is my favorite actually. Monitoring a player. So what do you
Oh
interpret from
man,
this?
monitoring a player. I'll give you an example. Okay, monitoring a player. we are monitoring Victor Gyökeres right now. That's the example I would say, right? Because monitoring a player, which means the club does not have anything to offer in terms of the transfer pool. He's just monitoring where he goes and then snap on that opportunity. I think we have done that before with Bruno as well.
Okay.
So that's what I would call. It's like monitoring is, yeah, I'm just going to wait, do some deadline day deals,
Okay.
and just call it off.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
That's a good one, Ashish. But whenever I hear monitoring the player, it just reminds me of people at the clubs just going and watching YouTube compilations of the
Yeah,
player.
absolutely. Yeah, comps as we call it.
Exactly.
Right.
Perfect.
Reels.
Yeah, absolutely. The third one, the next one is long-term admirer of the player.
Long-term admirer is like us admiring that Federico Valverde will someday come and play for United. So it's
Absolutely.
like admirers on the club level, but not on the scouting level. Maybe on the scouting level, but not from the managerial level. It's like you have different options
Yeah.
in terms of your transfer war chest / your option list. That's what I would call that one. But it's like a Valverde signing for us, the
Yeah.
wish, the
Yeah.
dream, the Lewandowski signing that never happened for us.
Or the Rafa Varane signing that never.
Even the Antoine Griezmann one, that the
Great.
transfer saga, Sergio Milinkovic, I
Yeah.
can
Tony
name hundreds
Cruz.
of them. Yeah, so these are the players we wish for. But yeah, that's
Okay,
what it is.
last one, Ashish, is keep informed.
Keep informed. Oh my god. Keep informed is just engagement bait,
Wait.
clickbait stuff, man. It's you know how Fabrizio is twisting the same news into different words, but actually they mean the same thing. That
Absolutely.
basically nothing is happening right now. Just hold on. So and because of this, all the transfer fun has died off. If you remember back in the days, if you've been watching football since a long time, we used to tune into ESPN Star Sports back in the day
Yes.
to tune in to that deadline day last cut like 1 or 2 hours,
Exactly.
and we would be like glued to our TV set, see
Yeah.
what's gonna be the next signing, because we had absolute no idea. Now that fun is gone, man. That's how I would say,
Absolutely.
definitely.
I still remember the one that you said, tuning into deadline day 2 hours ago, before deadline day or deadline was done, and I was
Right.
shocked to see Mesut Ozil come to Arsenal. That transfer
Out of
blew my
nowhere.
mind, right? Out of nowhere. I was like, wow, Arsenal are back.
You remember this incident? I would cite this incident. You remember this West Brom player Peter Odemwingie?
Oh.
He almost drove to another club and the journalists were there like, why are you coming here? You aren't even signed. So this is the fun of the transfer windows that we miss. Right?
Yeah. I'm sure Harry Redknapp would have much more stories to talk about
Yeah,
regarding.
absolutely. He signed Nico Kranjčar, so according to him, he's the best player in the world. So
Absolutely. What that was really fun. That was really
that was
fun.
fun.
Ashish, thank you so much. Thank you so much for providing your interpretation. But let's dive into the episode. From one fun to a lot of question marks. Manchester United and their transfer season so far. So the Cunha deal is done and dusted. So that's
Yeah.
done. Embuemo, there's just a lot of news about it. It says that we are close, and then there's some rumors about that the second bid is rejected. Some are
Right.
saying the second bid is not outrightly rejected. It's based on the add-ons. So
Right.
if you look at the transfer window only from this perspective, so Cunha and Embuemo close, how would you rate the transfer window so far?
Now, there's that. I think I'll be completely honest. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Now, just to add some context, with some of our players leaving after the contracts are done, with Johnny Evans, right? We have Eriksson, we have Lindelof leaving. We saved around 337,000 wages off the books every
Yeah.
week. That's massive money. That's we were talking about at least 13 to 15 million that can be reinvested into player salaries and negotiations, right? Now, the most important piece is, as Ornstein had mentioned before the season, before a transfer window began, that yes, United still have the budget to buy 3 players because we are a revenue generating magnet, which Glazers have been absolutely like churning off money from there, right? That's why we are in huge debt. That's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
But so that's why we need to understand the context. Now, with these 3 players going off the books, we might have rooms for player negotiations. Now, next, with Embuemo and Cunha, we haven't secured Embuemo, but I think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think the 62.5 million bid is rejected, and then it might go to 70.
Yeah.
Even if we pay 70, I think it's fine. When he will start scoring 20 goals per season, everyone will forget what the price was. Now that we have secured Cunha and Mbuemo, I think now it's time to switch the priorities. I think they did the right thing fixing that. We need at least, we are missing that 30 goals in the season that we are getting from these two players. They have the numbers to back it, right? Now, what we clearly are lacking in terms of some of the divas that we have in the club right now, right?
Yeah.
With the likes of Sancho, with the likes of Garnacho, and the likes of Rashford. I did a stream like few hours back on that. And just for context, Rashford is earning 300k, Sancho 250k, right? Garnacho is still young, insignificant, but you see the point.
Yeah.
If we are, and even Antony for that matter, right now at 200k, right now that return to Antony from loan, it's going to be a toxic relationship again. It's not going to be the same anymore. So we need to prioritize the sell of these 4 players first, right?
Sure.
Then we'll be able to actually use the money in a better way. And when I say better way, we have been complaining this since the last 2 seasons, that we are absolutely losing control in the midfield, which means we need a midfielder ASAP.
Absolutely.
When people say that Bruno can play in the pivot, it's wrong. It's misprofiling. When we say we have Casemiro as our experience, Casemiro only had 5 or 6 good games this season. Apart from that, his legs have died down. He cannot track back. Both Ugarte and Casemiro, Ugarte needs someone to support him in the pivot so that we can handle the pressure. So this is where we need to understand that we need an LCM. So my transfer window ratings at this point, if you ask me per player, I would say Cunha is an absolute 9 on 10 signing. If we do Mbuemo, it's still an 8.58 signing. Why I'll tell you. For me, Mbuemo, okay, he fits in that R10 role, but if you ask me as from football tactician perspective, like 4-3-3 Mbuemo makes sense. He would have flourished more in Newcastle with lower expectations. So that I'll give Mbuemo 8. Great player. I think we needed him. He'll do well for us. But since we are lacking that transfer, like nothing's happening, movement happening in the midfield area, that's what I'm worried about. I want us to do a smart signing in Hayden Hackney. Is where I'm looking at.
From Boro.
So I would give that aspect. But shoot me your questions if you have more.
Yeah, brilliant. That's a very interesting thing because everybody is talking about obviously the player sales. Yeah, exactly. After the player sales, everybody is talking about striker. And then all my friends, they're talking about the striker first, then the goalkeeper, because like I have a lot of friends who absolutely love Andre Onana. They just have the choice.
With all due respect.
Exactly.
With all due respect.
Exactly. I was a bit scared when Onana came to Mumbai. If people are going to throw things at him and then fend for him.
No, I was worried as well. But there was Maguire to save it.
Exactly. Yeah, the original slaphead. But so people are always telling me striker, goalkeeper, and then the midfielder. But it was very interesting you going the midfielder route to be
absolutely.
Yeah.
We have been losing control since the time Erik ten Hag joined the club. The word that we have seen all football analysts, pundits making this, the midfield is non-existent. Why? Because we don't have the right profiles to meet the demands of modern football in the Premier League. More pressing, more physicality, someone who, if you are pressed, can release the ball and break lines. That's what you need, and we don't have that player profile. If you're giving that responsibility to Bruno Fernandes right now, it's not possible. This is where we're lacking those players, and I had shortlisted some options as well in terms of Wharton, in terms of Baliba, in terms of even Hayden Hackney as well, the best midfielder in the championship with 98% passing accuracy and chance creation, and only 3% ball dispossessed. This is exactly the thing we want to fix, and we're not going for these signings. So we need to be smarter there because of the money we have and no transfer pool.
Yeah, absolutely. And also one more name that I think of also going back to the Aston Villa situation is Amadou Onana, the guy who we actually wanted probably even before Ugarte to come into this club. An absolute destroyer as well, but something. But what would you, Ashish, be happy with? So we obviously seems to be fixed. So let's say we get in a midfielder, goalkeeper and striker. Rate that window as sufficient. Would you say that would be above par for United?
Yeah, absolutely. See, we did a lot of signings last season as well, but did it turn out that great? Let's be absolutely honest, right? Any new signings that have joined, right? I won't rate any of them more than 6 or 5 because we finished 15th. There's no questions to it that we cannot play that narrative game that Mazraoui was a fantastic signing. Yes, he's a good player.
Yeah,
he did well, but did he do enough to take us past at least finished us in the top half. No, we finished 15th. Every player has to take accountability and responsibility for it.
Yeah.
So that's what we. So if let's say we replace a goalkeeper, fantastic. I think that's one of the priority. Priority would be definitely to have a central midfielder, because we have only Collier and Menu who are still growing. Let's be honest, Menu hasn't still grown. Like physically, he's still working out a lot right now to build his physicality a bit more. He's still not ready to play in the pivot. He's not the profile, right?
Yeah.
So we only left with Ugarte and Bruno. Bruno loses the ball a lot.
Yeah.
We need a midfielder. Striker, it's a gamble situation. I know we lacked goals, but with Matheus Cunha, and I've done the video as well on explain the same as well. Like Matheus Cunha is very versatile.
Yes.
He can play striker. He can play the cam L10 role, and he usually drops deep to help in the overloads in the midfield, and then he goes back to his position, right? So we have that flexibility. That's why I would like to solve some of the basics of football.
Nice.
If we fix that control, right, that we have, we might even see Cunha and Mbeumo actually providing the stuff for Højlund to gain his confidence back as well.
True.
And also, just another point, sorry to add more, is like Zirkzee, now with the growth we saw in Zirkzee in the second half of the season before he got injured, that was promising. Now with that, we can have a tactical switch, right, where Zirkzee can actually drop deep and Cunha and Mbeumo can go forward, right? This is where we'll be seeing that. That's why I want to prioritize the goalkeeper fix, because Onana so people will say ki Onana has only 3 errors leading to goal. Hey, but you're missing context. It actually is close to 10 errors, because he makes those errors, he kickstarts those errors from the defenders. So we lack that defensive stability in the back. He does not marshal our centre backs. No leadership. Commits positional mistakes that lead to silly goals, right? That we could have easily ended at least in a draw, right? Yes, he has made some fantastic saves, but if you don't do the basics right, you should not be deserving to play for the Manchester United.
Absolutely.
So I would prioritize them first, right? It's not like we don't have strikers. We have 2. There's still room to grow, because the first season Højlund came, he scored 16, showed good promise, right? I have been a critic of Højlund, but I think if we need to take it step by step. I think we cannot go into the basketball mode football that we played. Fix your midfield, fix your goalkeeper, fix your mistakes. But when you cover your mistakes, right, this is where you can take a foundation and grow from there.
Brilliant, Ashish. And then one last question on United, since we are there.
Absolutely.
Huge
United, we can go on and on.
Absolutely. There's this huge discourse about Højlund and what he should do. Obviously we bought potential, and in the first season he did show, and then we all expected him to grow on that. And second season has been anything but shambolic. It's been horrible in the sense.
Can't believe my eyes when I saw Højlund performing this season.
It's almost that all the confidence that he had developed and the self-confidence and the confidence he had that he could lead the line for United had dissipated completely, and he could not, nothing will stick. Nothing happened, and it was.
I can understand. Yeah, exactly. And I can understand sometimes that sometimes you cannot make that pass, you cannot make that run. But when the ball is on your feet, the strike potency that we saw last season, even in how he strikes the ball as well, he fluffed his lines most of the time.
Absolutely.
So that was when I thought, I think he needs a loan move ASAP.
Yes.
But we don't have anyone to cover us, so we might have to just live with it. That's why if we get a striker, hey man, if we get a striker, fantastic. We are lacking goals, fair enough. But we also need to think on the hindsight. Not hindsight, but I think just take a step back.
Yeah.
See what we are exactly lacking and missing, where the mistakes are happening. Let's cover that first. Then give the platform to Højlund to improve again. Because then we have January transfer window as well.
True.
Right.
Absolutely. Brilliant. That was all about United. Thank you so much, Ashish, for that. And then let's move on to someone who, transfer season is their game, Chelsea. We always have to count the number of players coming in and going out. Yeah, I sometimes have Chelsea fans on this channel and they're saying, bro, I have no idea who's coming in and out. But obviously the big in is Liam Delap, who United were also chasing, but Liam Delap is Chelsea, and he also, I would say, taken into Chelsea really well. He scored a really good goal in the Club World Cup. Then the other two who are in is Dario Esogo from Sporting. Yeah, Sporting. I think he's a DM or a defensive midfielder, and also Mamadou Sarr from Strasbourg, I believe he's a centre back. But he's going to, again, all these people are going to be joined by the highly exciting Estevao and Kendry pace. So that looks amazing. So they're looking really good. But also the outs are going to be quite interesting. And also Chelsea are in the market for another striker because Nicholas Jackson may leave. It's coming out that he may leave. So Chelsea may
Right.
be in the market for a striker. So what do you think of their transfer season so far? And what are the things that you feel that Chelsea should concentrate in the transfer window
I,
moving forward?
right. My honest assessment of Chelsea over the, at least on the Todd Bowley era, is I think they have changed how their club works as a whole model.
Hmm.
Right. They have switched over into a selling model kind of thing
Yeah.
because we need to understand that post Roman Abramovich selling Chelsea, that club needs more financial stability more than ever. So now
Yes.
what they're doing is they're handing out those long contracts with
Correct.
installment signings, but also signing very young players. You see
Correct.
the pattern.
Yes.
It's like there's a meme going around like in football discourse. It's like, okay, you are 20-year-old, you can kick the ball, I'll sign you up. Yeah, this is what's happening. So
Yeah.
again, the Esugo, 20-year-old again,
Exactly.
right? So you see the pattern. They want to get those like they had so many signings. Chukwuemeka, that Giu, right,
Yeah.
striker,
Yeah.
right? So many. Even Liam Delap as well, like 30 million,
He's
but he has resale value. If he turns
absolutely
out good, he has good resale value. With Nicholas Jackson, also young, he slowly grown. He has a lot to do, lot to improve. But this is where they are going right now. So what exactly now this is the financial aspect of it, that they want to
yes.
grow those players, send them out of loan, and
Ex-
and you can also see some of the players they buy, they send them loan to Strasbourg again.
Exactly.
You have seen the pattern, right? So
Yes.
this is what is happening from a financial standpoint. Now if you ask me from a footballing aspect, they need a winger, man.
Hmm.
They absolutely need a winger, which means now they bought Quenda,
Yeah.
right? But he's not going to join anytime soon
No.
at this point, 2026, right?
Yes.
Now with Pedro Neto, he reaches the box again. That IQ issue is like when time comes to deliver the goods, he's not able to. But fantastic player.
Yes.
Mudryk is banned, right?
Yes.
Sancho, how much? 5 goals and 10 assists this season. Very poor
Yeah.
based on his standards, because that's on all competitions, right?
Exactly.
Didn't work out. They sent us back, and
Yeah.
now we can't sell him right now as well. We're gonna talk about it another day, but this is what it is, man.
think
Now,
just regarding we are speaking about wingers, but I think Jamie Bino Gittins from Dortmund to
great point.
Chelsea is almost done, and I think
Yep.
he fits the Maresca system really well. But
Oh,
again, as you said, very young as well.
exactly. So because we have seen things happen, like Biono Gittins, okay, I have seen him. I've seen him play. Good player, very direct, has that X factor that you need. But again, the pressures of performing in the Premier League with the transfer fee behind your back, with a lot of eyes behind your back, it's not for everyone. And it's absolutely fine. Not every player needs to surpass their ceiling. It is what it is. Things change, situation changes, your lifestyle changes. Now he's going to come to London as well.
Correct.
A lot of players prefer the London lifestyle, and it is what it is. It's a major factor for people joining London clubs. So this might get affected, and there's a lot of factors. Bruno Gittins, good professional, really, but I really think that if Chelsea does not grow him well, he might turn into another Sancho.
Mhm.
But only time will tell. But I think it's a good signing. They have Madueke, which I find him pretty impressive. There are a lot of haters of Madueke, I know, from Chelsea fans as well, but I think I like him a lot. He is still very young. The core player, like the forward line at least, is very young. But what I'm happy with Chelsea right now is that their core is pretty stable in terms of Caicedo and Enzo.
Yeah.
Very good core with Palmer in, right?
Yeah.
So I think they have the right like foundations right now that they have found their two centre back pairing in Tosin and Colwill. But I still feel if they have to really step it up in the Champions League, they might need to sign another centre back.
Good
Now
point.
with Delap signing, we need to understand that he was also linked too heavily with United. I'm really happy he did not join though. I'll tell you why. He just had one season in a relegated Ipswich team and only 10 or 12 goals, right, this season. Even when he was in the championship with Hull, I think, if I'm not wrong. I have to check that. Yeah. He from City Academy, he went to championship. He did not have a great season. Rather, Gyökeres had a fantastic 22 goal, 12 assist season when he was in championship. So in Coventry. So Delap looks like a decent prospect, but he will he lead the line for Chelsea to score 20 plus goals that would keep them again in the top 4 race?
True.
It will all depend on how Palmer plays. So there are some lot of question marks there with Chelsea, and the squad stability is lacking in terms of what would be your lineup
Yeah.
going forward.
Yeah.
Bit interesting, right? If you ask me the signings right now, if they do Bjorn Gittens, great talent, that I would give it easily a 7.5, 8, because time will only tell how he'll perform.
Yeah.
But I think they need a centre back badly.
Okay. Great, Ashish. Brilliant insights on Chelsea. Just one question. Do you think Chelsea fans will get a bit nervous that they've been sold this model of players, but do you think in the most high pressure matches or when the stakes are very high, that they need to sign some experience as well? Because that was the thing that I always felt at Chelsea when there was Thiago Silva. There was this one man or a couple of people around Chelsea. Always under Mourinho, you had these leaders, and obviously now they're going this young route. Do you think that they will be a bit nervous that they have nobody of that ilk, of that experience? Obviously, there are leaders in Enzo and Caicedo, but what I'm talking about is proper statesman leaderships.
No, absolutely bang on. Now they tried in Disasi,
Yes.
didn't work that well,
Didn't work.
right?
No.
Malo Gusto is a good prospect.
Yes.
James could be the leader, but he has his injury issues. Right?
Yes.
Whenever he plays, he's way better than Trent in terms of ceiling and ability. Like, let's be absolutely defensively as well, right? Now James, you cannot trust his fitness, and you're absolutely bang on. And I have been saying this: Chelsea has always been successful whenever they have that experienced centre back pairing. Let's go down the road, like down memory lane. John Terry. And even like when they had like even the likes of David Luiz and all when they had at Chelsea, right? Centre backs have always been the foundation for Chelsea to perform well.
Sure.
Are Levi Colwill and Tosin are on the same levels? Only time will tell, but absolutely. I don't see it happening right now. They needed something experienced. I think they might go for this next season if they're not prioritizing this season. But I bang on, man. They need experience there for sure.
Brilliant. So Chelsea fans, please let us know what you think. Is Ashish spot on with his centre back? That's what Chelsea fans are looking at, or do you going to prioritize the strikers? So please let us know in your comments.
Also, would like to mention one point on Jackson though. I think Jackson, like when we're talking strikers, right? Jackson, I think can do well. He gets into brilliant positions and makes good runs. Let's be fair. Still young, right?
Yes.
If he continues one more season and still does not make it right, then Chelsea can make that call of selling Jackson. In my opinion, they should keep Jackson this year. He was one of the brightest sparks, at least in the recent times as well, that he can do. He has had his up and down, but I remember his performance against City as well was pretty good. So I think I like him, but Chelsea fans can differ with me, that's fine.
Absolutely. Chelsea fans, let us know in your comments. Do you think Jackson should stay one more season and see how it works out? Is the centre back position the most important, or are you still looking for a striker if Jackson moves? Please let us know in your comments. And as I said, we'll move from one London club to another London club. Everybody, when the season started, Ashish, when you think about Arsenal, I've always thought the first news also that came regarding Cheque, I thought that, okay, Arsenal wanted a striker. That was the only thing that has been missing. They will go all out for a striker, and that will be the one that they will start with. And it's been anything but a striker. So what they have done so far is Kepa, Norgard as the defensive midfielder. Very interesting what happened with Partey, because they were in talks to extend his contract. That and then suddenly within a rumor to actual here we go was literally like 5-6 hours and done. And then they are now in advanced talks with this Saliba succession plan, which is Mosquera from Valencia, who is supposed to be someone with a very high ceiling as well. So they are already fixing, they could fix even in the later parts of the window. The major thing that they wanted to fix is still open. What do you think about their window so far? And because it's been quite a bit of a big question mark for me.
Absolutely. That question mark lingers on in terms of when they're going to win a trophy as well. Like, when do Arsenal fans start having that conversation? Right? And for that conversation to happen, this season is the crux. This season is the the real test. The real test that there has come a limit even in terms of Arsenal fans that they want some trophy at least, and sustain them. Now to do that, we saw this last season that they clearly lack that X factor. Gabriel Jesus, as good a player he can be, but can he deliver you 20 goals per season based on his injury stats? No. Kai Havertz, is he really a striker? No. Is he even really a false nine? Maybe. It is what it is. We have seen some up and down performances from Havertz. Great player, but again, cannot win you the most massive games. Now, which is where what happened last season with Arsenal as well is the injury to Gabriel also helped Kivior sustain them. But I think what they're trying to do this season is with Zubimendi signing, right? Now, Partey going, as you mentioned, Partey is leaving, and Partey rightly is leaving, and Arsenal rightly let him go because they cannot trust him defensively in terms of injuries. If you cannot give them 75% or 80% appearances in your whole season, you should leave basically. You cannot invest heavy on that player, and you cannot renew a contract. Zubimendi is a smart signing. Is a very smart signing, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people who think that Zubimendi is short, is like he just knows to control the tempo. No, that's wrong. If you go and see his stats as well, I mean, I always keep a balance between my eye test and a stat, but I have seen both.
Nice.
Right? So when I see him, I see control in the game. We have seen for Spain as well. We've seen for Sociedad as well. Now, when it comes to stats, 96 or 97 percentile, if I'm doing some research on him as well. He has interception percentile. Like, his interception numbers are pretty good, right? And then he has also good aerial duels numbers as well, which you won't associate with a player like Zubimendi, but it is what it is. What it tells you. It tells you that intelligence outrights your physicality any day in football. He's a very smart player. And Arsenal did lack that control a bit in the second half of the games this season. We saw that clearly during the PSG game as well. When there was exactly the right moment where Arsenal had to step it up, they lost control to PSG in the second half because of the midfield. And with Zinchenko cannot even now they have options in terms of Zinchenko cannot play that LCM as well anymore. So he's done. He's not even a left back. He's done. So they need options right now. With now their front three, like the three midfield would be Rice, Odegaard, and your Zubimendi. But they only have Merino as backup, right? Alongside now, hence they needed a backup of Zubimendi as well.
Correct.
Now with Christian Norgard, now there's been so much news around like why did Arsenal go for Norgard, right?
Yeah.
Norgard is 32.
Correct.
Right. Is he an upgrade over Jorginho in the current context? Maybe because of some of his unique attributes. And and unique attributes are his set piece is pretty good and he can dart into the box as well. He has those attributes. That's fine. But he's more of a Zubimendi backup. Now they have only Merino left as a prime marquee like option in terms of backup. And Odegaard was overplayed over the last 2 seasons. Hence we saw his numbers drop by 75% from the previous 2 seasons.
Wow.
75% his numbers have dropped off. That's massive. 50% from last season, 75% from the previous season. So they need to manage minutes of those midfielders. So I think they made a smart signing in Zubimendi and also in Norgard. Norgard is just not going to have some minutes. Norgard is there for backups and managing a game time. 20 minutes left in your game, you're 2-0 up. Norgard is going to come and just sweep it off and manage the game. Now with Mosquera, right? What if there's an injury to Saliba? They have no marquee centre back.
Exactly, and last season we saw how much Arsenal didn't struggle, but you could see when either Gabriel or Saliba together they are a force to reckon with. But when one of them there's an injury of sort, then.
But when it comes to striker, with Arsenal, with Arteta's system, right? I think he expects his left wingers to make that X factor run into the box. We have seen so many times Odegaard and Saka delivering boxes delivering to the box in the far post, but there's no one to meet those numbers. And this is where they really needed Nico Williams there because he makes those bursting runs, which we have been lacking in Martinelli. Yes, Martinelli did show those runs in the second half of the season, but overall in the past 2 years, he has not shown that he can step up. Trossard was again a stopgap signing when Arsenal fans agree with it, right? He's not going to take you to that level.
True.
Can they sign Rodrigo though?
Yes.
It's going to be very expensive. Do they have the funds right now? They do, but do they have the ambition to go for both Rodrigo and Sesko?
True.
This is where now knowing Arteta, from the past few seasons, he might actually. He has been admiring Sesko a lot. It's
Yeah.
part of his transfer plan since very long. With Sesko, if they sign him, he has a fantastic right boot that he can score from outside the box, which we rarely see in the Premier League these days. So if you ask me how Arsenal should have prioritized, I think they prioritize this pretty well, because striker situation for any club is not yet very certain, because there's Osimhen as well as options, the Gyökeres as an option as well, Sesko. So that is still very uncertain. What they've done is secure their defense, secure their midfield, and that's important for our long season. So they can be smart, but if they don't get a striker right, they're gonna fall behind massively from City and Liverpool. City have absolutely. We'll come to City as well, but yeah, that's my opinion on this.
Brilliant. The other name that was also put in the hat was also Eze from Palace, who also can play on that left wing. He could be some signing if they get him as well.
But he's linked with Spurs, right? I think
Oh,
Spurs
he's also linked
look
with
like a
Spurs.
front runner. Like Spurs are matching valuations as well. Spurs,
Okay.
for me, if you ask me, Eze at Spurs would be a better choice.
Oh, okay.
He works at Spurs better. He will.
Okay.
That's my opinion. For Arsenal, they're going for titles.
Yes.
Eze won't win you the title. As good as a player he is. Someone who would win you a title is Rodrigo.
Brilliant. That's a great take, and that is what we will stop Arsenal on. And the Arsenal fans, if you're listening to this, let us know what you think. Rodrigo, Eze, is the striker more important? What do you think of Shesko? Please let us know. And then we'll slightly move from Arsenal, how to say, who is the protege to the master,
Protege to
Pep.
the master.
Man City and their transfer season so far. So we all know when Pep is backed into a corner, what he does best is he runs to Khaldoon Al Mubarak, and then he brings out the checkbook and then spends close to 130 million in this window. And the winter window, they already spent about 212 million. So the ins have Reinders from AC Milan, Ait Nouri from Wolves, and Cheque from Lyon. And the ins, this is in addition to the ins in January, which was Marmoush, Kusanov, Nico Gonzalez, and Vitor Reyes. So it's very clear that based on all of City's spending, that they're not going to be charged for any of those 115 charges. It's quite clear. But think of their transfer window so far, Ashish, and think then you see some more gaps that they will look to fill because it looks to leave. Clearly, and I believe the futures of John Stones, I think even the goalkeeper Ederson is up in the air. So do you think they will fill some more holes, or do you think Pep will be happy with whatever he's assembled as well?
I think the transfer window is done, in my opinion. They potentially might look at a Livramento. I think they're monitoring the situation for Livramento. Livramento could actually be a fantastic upgrade over Rico Lewis.
Yes.
Currently. And we're going to see with Ait Nouri signing Guardiola moving to centre back. His first position, his prime position. That's what's going to happen. We're already seeing that.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned a point that they go with the checkbook to the owners. But what they do right is the valuations of those players. And whenever they sign it. Absolutely right. Now with Tijani Reinders, right? I think everyone can see in the Club World Cup already what he's going to bring. He's off the ball runs. Everyone said to me, I was doing a lot of streams last year and I said that Tijani Reinders is one of the best talents in the world right now. Have to sign him up. He can play the pivot. He can play like anywhere in the pitch.
Yeah.
People said that, no, he's just signed a contract for AC Milan. With AC Milan, he's not available.
Yeah.
I'm like, every player has a price. Man City came in calling and it did not even go to 80-90 million valuation.
No.
They signed it up in 65. And this is where I'm saying they even signed the best players that they have for way lesser valuations than they would have ended up at United, let's say. If United would have gone for Reinders, I'm talking 90 million at least.
Yeah.
Right? So City, yes, they go for the signings, but they sign. We have to give them that. Their scouting is spot on exactly what they want in the player profiles. Now, they also have PSR room. Financially, they are generating good revenue. Also, I'll give you a stat. By progressing in the next round of Club World Cup, now Athletic has reported it. They already have earned 52 million in this Club World Cup.
Almost Cheque and Ait Nouri done almost.
So there you go. So this is it. So this is where they can make the sign. So I give it to them that they are spot on in the transfer market. They went for the signings because they went for Marmoush. Why? Because they missed a Julian Alvarez.
True.
They absolutely missed Julian Alvarez. If Haaland was ghosting, Julian Alvarez was stepping up. And now Marmoush is stepping up. So I think they needed those signings. They saw that Kovacic is not working, so they got in Nico Gonzalez. With Rodri injured the whole season. Now with Rodri back, they have a much more backup. Khusanov, they wanted to move on from Nathan Ake or even like Stones because again for injury record. Khusanov, I think, won one of the Player of the Month as well for City in his first month. So they have fantastic potential. They got Savinho the previous season as well, right? So they are on the right path. Yes, they do spend the money, but when they spend it, bang on.
Absolutely. And just wanted to add to what you said, they also sell really well, Ashish. You actually look at the net for spend, they sell really well. I was just looking at some of the stats yesterday, and they sold this player called Jan Kuto. I have never seen this guy play for City, and they sold him for 25 million back to Dortmund. And I was like, how? And even if you remember, if you go a few seasons back, like players who did not play for the main team, for the main City team, they were selling from the academy. Like Borges, they sold to I think they sold again from City.
Fantastic goalkeeper again. We were linked to him.
Yeah, exactly. Now everybody is linked to him. Like Newcastle want him really badly, and so it's just how they do it. And as being a United fan, it really pains me that even the players who are in the main team and performing quite well and they have some value, we are not able to sell as much.
Absolutely.
As City
and we have to accept that fact as United fans that we have lost the transfer pool. When people say in Twitter there's toxic narratives, and let's be honest, we have lost the transfer pool. Transfer pool, had it been there, we would have nailed in Mount for 30 million rather than a 60. Right? So it is what it is. And yes, you're absolutely spot on. They sold Alvarez for 100 million as well. So they used that money in Savinho. They used that money in January with Marmoush.
Yes.
Right. So when people say, oh, they've spent like for 7 players, they did the sell as well. Look at Palmer's sell.
Yeah.
It worked out pretty well. They sold academy player for 30-40 million, I think Palmer was. 50 million, I think. 50 was the price. 40 to 50. Yeah, could be. Yeah. That's pure profit I'm talking about.
Yes.
Kuto, pure profit. Let's say today if we sell Garnacho or Mainu going forward, that's pure profit we're talking about. Ideally, I won't like Mainu to leave so soon, but you see where I'm going at, right? It was a pure profit for us as well.
Yes.
It didn't turn out as it should, but it is what it is. But yeah. But that's a great point. As City, from a transfer perspective, I think they have nailed it. I would give it a 10 on 10. They fixed their left back situation because Guardiola was slowly, he's showing signs that he's not the left back that City wanted. A lot of last minute goals and mistakes. Now they already have the centre backs sorted. They needed, because they saw Bernardo Silva dying out in terms of form and fitness. Even Foden can be inconsistent. Not inconsistent, but he showed last season that he has a drop in him as well. So they needed Cheque because they're missing that Mahrez creativity. Savinho is much more of a direct player. There's no Grealish. Grealish is absolutely gone out of the picture. He's nowhere right now. With Matheus Nunes, it's not working out. So they lack creativity in the City. Looked very pedestrian last season, and with Reinders and his off the ball runs, tempo will never stop. We've already seen that. Cheque has had a mixed bag, but we all know Cheque what he can do. Spot on transfer window, man. Spot on, I would say.
Yeah, it pains to see it as a United fan.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. We are 10 years behind.
City fans, if anybody is there on this, watching this stream from Empty Heart, just let us know what do you think of City's transfer window. All jokes apart, I believe City's transfer window has been absolutely spot on, and it pains seeing it as a United fan. I'll say it again because that's a brilliant segue, as there's levels of pain. City do well, and then there's Liverpool who take it a notch further.
Notch up.
Exactly. And FSG, the owners of Liverpool, and I had this previous podcast also with Nitika, and she told me that it's very surprising for even Liverpool fans to see FSG, who's been so frugal in their spending, now going and spending the big bucks with Frimpong Kerkesh. What a trifecta of signings there. If anybody tells you somebody is just sitting and orgasming here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you're spot on. Like when I did that video on words and both Frimpong and Kirkes, I absolutely did my research.
Yeah.
I was like, these players fit. Let's just forget stats for a reason. When people have seen them play, right? I was doing some research. Like when the amount of darting runs that Frimpong makes to the box, similar runs are made by Salah.
Yeah.
So imagine the defenders have to deal with Frimpong and Salah both, which that dynamism Slot wanted with Trent. He
Seriously.
did not get it, right?
Yes.
Now, Robertson is nearing 31 as well.
Yes.
Liverpool fans agreed with me on some sessions as well that yes, he was not up to the mark last season. And I think they won't ideally sell him, but be as a mentor to Kirkes.
Hmm.
Pretty young Kirkes, right? But what a season.
What a
What
season.
a
Yeah.
season Kirkes. He had even more underlap and overlap runs than Robertson in that whole
Wow.
season.
Wow.
Similar number of crosses, even more crosses, lesser accuracy, but more crosses. So his cross percentage is good. Here, his underlap and overlap runs are great. That's exactly what they need right now and what they have, but getting an upgrade over him in a young form. Now, Robertson is still good enough to really do really well, but Kirkes will be a fantastic apprentice to the master
Hmm.
in Robertson.
Hmm.
Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz. What a signing. What a. People talk about that transfer fee. I understand why that transfer fee is there. Transfer
True.
fee has been there. 115 million pounds, 150 million euros. Worth it. Liverpool will not immediately though. Wirtz will take his time to settle in, but when things will kick in with Wirtz, right? He's played 9 positions in the last 2 years.
That's
That's
crazy.
crazy. That's insane. Like he can float around. He does not need to and this is where they have two interesting profiles with Wirtz and Soboslai. Now
Yeah.
Soboslai is more box to box cam.
Hmm.
Wirtz is more he's gonna float around in that final third space, right?
Yes.
And he's gonna just keep on delivering, right? Because Wirtz can play a false nine as well, which we saw Diaz played as well
Yes.
in that role. So very flexible. I think they have found the replacements of Trent and Robertson for the future, and got themselves a superstar in terms of creator. What a signing! I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah, and the only thing that can make this already dangerous Liverpool cook more is they might be in the market for a striker, and the name that
They
is being
will.
floated around is Isak, because I think Nunes is on his way out with Napoli.
Napoli.
Exactly.
He's gonna do very well in Napoli. Honestly, Hari, I like Nunes as a player.
Hmm.
Fantastic player, right?
Yeah.
He was very unlucky with those finishes. Let's be
Yes.
absolutely honest,
Yes.
right? It does not like that he has skied the balls. No, it was hit on the post. He has the potency, great build, great pace, fantastic movement.
Yes.
He's intelligent, very intelligent player, right? I would have loved him at United, honestly, considering the situation we have right now.
Yeah.
He even took a step up when Jota was injured, which Liverpool actually should have prioritized the sell of Jota, in my opinion, because I'll
Hmm.
give you an interesting stat. Jota has missed 98 games due to injury for Liverpool
Wow. Oh, that's wow. Okay.
across his
That's-
whole.
He's not been there for a long time, you would say, in 98 games. Okay. That's crazy.
So you see the situation we have with Shaw as well. When you
Exactly.
see he's been there, but with injuries he has missed a total of 4 to 5 seasons.
Clear.
So this is where we would. I think they missed out a mark there, but fair enough. I think they know what they're doing. Now they have the money. To be absolutely honest, right?
Yes.
They have not made any crazy marquee signings recently, apart
Yes.
from Gakpo, right? Nunes was done 2 years back. They've already they won the championship. Financially they're doing well. They have the money, right?
Yes.
Every player has a price.
Yes.
When people say Alexander Isak is untouchable, they're wrong. Newcastle, if they get the right money, will use this to rebuild the squad even more. Interesting situation to monitor.
Yes.
They are in for a striker.
Hmm.
They won't go for Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres does not fit their profile, which I hope. But yeah, I mean, they are in for a striker. They are serious. They mean business because they know City have already upgraded massively,
Yes.
right? 7 signings we can call
Yeah.
right now. I'm going to call it a fresh transfer window
Seriously.
with Gonzalez, Kusanov and everyone.
Yeah.
So Liverpool know that if they have to really score more goals and beat City, I don't see Arsenal winning the league this year again. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
If they don't get a striker and left wing,
Yeah.
they're not going to reach. There's no way. They're remotely close to
Yeah.
City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
So it's going to be City versus Liverpool this season, I think. But you said it, a trifecta. They have figured it out, and what a transfer window,
Yeah.
man.
And this is what, Liverpool, as you rightly pointed out, Ashish, they were always a very good team, but they always, until this year, they made these Very nice signings. Look good on the eye, but we always had this question of whether they can rise up to the occasion, have those numbers, have that impact. And they always manage to get it, whether be it Klopp or Slot. But for the first time, we are seeing this level of ambition from the owners, from the club to really bring in these marquee names.
Yeah.
And it's making you more nervous as a
No,
United fan.
absolutely bang on. And considering they just won a season,
Yeah,
they are not
exactly.
stopping because they know Man City has the ability to come back
Yeah,
and do a string of 3 Premier League wins again.
seriously.
They,
Yeah,
if you have to dominate City, you need to make those calls. I mean, words might fail, but it's the ambition I'm talking about. Because words is quality. He
yes,
will prove. Some players are going to work out.
100%.
So
Yeah.
very smart by Liverpool.
Brilliant. That is all that we have on this episode. And thank you so much, Ashish, for joining us on the pod. It has been absolutely lovely having you with us and just going through all these teams. And because we are, as football fans, we are so starved of not watching football. So it was really nice to talk to a fellow football fan, talk
I know.
about all these transfers, summarize it in a way, and also to get your thoughts. So thank you so much, Ashish,
Yeah,
for
absolutely. It
everything.
was a pleasure. We did touch off a lot of teams and talked about transfers. This is where football discourse should happen, right? Some opinions we might agree, like your people who might comment might agree, might not. But I think context is very important when we talk about football discourses, why things are happening. People might criticize, let's say, the Arsenal transfer window, like they didn't go for striker, but they need to understand they wanted to secure what they had first,
Yeah.
because the striker situation is still uncertain for a lot of clubs,
Yes.
and Liverpool is fighting for ambition. So yeah, man. But for us United right now, it's important that in more than transfers, we have a good preseason
Hmm.
with the likes of with our youngsters, at least
Yeah.
with Heaven, with Collier, with Menu. Give Bruno that rest and see Zirkzee integrating even more. I think if we do this at least first, fix some of the foundations first, I think we still can have a season where we can finish. I'll ask you a question, right? Where do you expect realistically United to finish next season? I'm saying it's eighth.
Huh. I would say, yeah, eight, but also eight if we obviously Cunha and Mbeumo we've gotten that midfielder and the goalie at least. And okay, fine, the striker, I don't trust these guys to make the right choice, or we probably wait for that in January or even the next window.
Next window.
But eight, yeah, I would say eight.
Because
But
that
I
will be a
think
good
the
upgrade from
most push.
15th.
Yeah, it
That will be a
would.
good upgrade from
Yeah,
15th.
it would be great. But eight. But I'm totally fine, Ashish. Eight is fine, right? But show me the way
Exactly.
moving forward. Yeah, show me the gameplay. Show me that I can believe in Amorim season 3, and then give me
Exactly.
one deep run in a domestic cup competition, either be it or
Absolutely spot on. I want to see that fear factor back at Old Trafford. We
exactly
can't keep losing games at Old Trafford. That's
true.
one of the main reasons that we need to fix. Need to make Old Trafford our fortress. Let's say
True.
we go and lose away games, it's okay.
Yeah.
But we need that fire and hunger from that team, not lose very random performances that
Yeah.
we don't know what you're going to expect from the team. I want a structure. I want to see what we're going to expect from United next season.
Yeah.
Hopefully, man. But realistically, I'm expecting 8th.
United fans, let us know where do you expect United to finish, and also all the other teams. If you have any opinions or any discourses on how you see certain teams, or if you want us to talk about any other team in another episode, please let us know. And viewers, please show Ashish some love for all the wonderful content that he's creating.
Thank you
Again,
so much.
just to reinforce my point, the way he conducts his stream shows, the amount of effort he puts into those 8-minute videos, rife with information, you're going to absolutely love it. So you can find all his socials in the description below. Give him a
Thank you.
subscribe, show him all your love.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much for appreciating my work. And obviously, people who are watching new as well should consider subscribing your channel as well. And soon, I'm going to invite you on my channel as well. The season has just got started, right? Once the
Absolutely.
games kick in,
Yeah.
we're gonna do a lot of interesting stuff. So, hoping to connect and collaborate with you more, man. It was a pleasure.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Ashish. Thank you for all those kind words as well. And viewers, please share and subscribe to our content on Football Corner Pod as well. Your love and support has been par excellence and allows us to reach out to guests such as Ashish and all the other wonderful guests that we've had on the show to come on this channel and talk about what we all love best, football. Just show us your love, and then that'll help us improve our content as well. We're going to have many more interesting guests, and surely, Ashish, this is the first of many episodes that we'll also have together. So, looking forward to seeing you again on the channel next time. So, keep it coming, guys, and we will be back soon with another episode. And since we are called Football Corner Pod, until next episode, take care, be safe, and always be aware of any corners taken quickly, especially if you're not a Liverpool fan.
Absolutely.
Guys, take care. Bye.
Thank you so much.